What's up, guys? Brian Grant here of ContestChampion.com, and today I just wanted to quickly talk about a subject that has a lot of players very worried, and that's that the Chinese version of this game has recently just been shut down, and because of this, some of those players that were active in the Chinese version, some of those players who have spent some money in that game, they were incentivized, to put it lightly, to join the rest of the world and our version of Marvel Contest of Champions. So first off, a lot of players don't even know that there were multiple versions of this game going on. The Chinese version was a much faster paced game where you can spend significantly less money and get significantly better rewards, but that also means that the game got very boring and stale quickly for those players, and as a result, yeah, they stopped playing completely and the game is now shut down. So just to give you guys some maybe to shed some light on why the progression is slower paced in this game and why you can't just instantly buy victory and stuff like that. It wouldn't be fun. It wouldn't be fun. You would do that and then you would stop logging in and nobody would play this game. But because it's not set up that way, there's reasons to log into this game every day. There's reasons to keep playing and progressing, and it's fun, right? That's why our version is not getting shut down. That's why our version is getting, the studio is being acquired for many millions of dollars, where our version is going to continue to thrive for years to come, right? So yeah, that like slow progression, it might feel frustrating at times, but in the long run, it's actually very good. So let's move on though. Let's talk about the actual screenshot that people are seeing and kind of freaking out about, and it's that this player here was given 75,000 units to join the rest of us. You can see here, this was the Chinese version of the game here, which, the name I'm not even going to try to pronounce because I'm only going to butcher it completely. So, but yeah, they were given 75,000 units. Now, this player, I'm sure, spent a large sum of money in the Chinese version of the game. They weren't given much else other than the units. I mean, yeah, it would be nice to get 2 4-star crystals, right? But the rest of the stuff is pretty insignificant. But it's really the units that people are kind of freaking out about. But the thing is, guys, these players are not keeping the rosters. They're starting completely from scratch. And imagine spending, hundreds and hundreds of dollars, probably thousands of dollars in this game, and then having everything just completely erased. It would feel pretty bad. So, yes, this is Kabam's way of saying, hey, sorry about that. Sorry about having to start all over from scratch. Sorry about losing your roster and stuff like that. But there was just not enough players to continue supporting that version of the game. Please come join us and accept these gifts as an apology and a welcome to Marvel Contest of Champions. So yeah, that's all this is, and this is like an outlier, right? This is like not a lot of players are getting this amount of units. It's only those who have spent a lot of money, and I'm sure there's like some time factor into it as well, but for the most part it's probably the money factor, right? Not only that, but of course this is from the money side of things. This is also Kabam's way of saying, hey, we noticed that you spent a bunch of money in this version of the game. Maybe you'll want to continue spending money in our version of the game, and the rest of the world's version of the game. And then there's also, I wanted to go over this on the forums here. Kabam Mike put together a quick little FAQ here that's actually pretty good. So once again, you can see here the Chinese version of the game. It's going to be mentioned a few times throughout, and I'm going to not say it all throughout. So I'm just going to quickly summarize what Mike has here. Are players that are moving over bringing the rosters and items? No. So yeah, they're starting from scratch, guys. Like I already said. And can you imagine starting from scratch versus players who have been playing this game for a couple of years? I mean, I'm sure some of you can. I'm sure some of you have just recently started this game, and you know the struggle. You know that even if you had 75,000 units, even if you spent that on premium hero crystals or whatever you'd want to spend it on, it's only going to take you so far, right? And I'm not saying it's impossible to start from scratch and work your way up. I did just that. It's taken me a long time. A lot of you maybe who have just recently started watching not that long ago, you didn't really see the whole build up and everything. If you go back and watch some of my first videos, you can see that I was only using 3-star champions. I had terrible masteries, all that stuff, right? So it's definitely possible to work your way up. It's just going to take time. So nobody has anything to immediately worry about. And actually, we're gonna jump around here in this FAQ thing. And just get to another one of the time factors here. And the question is, so is this why the Cable Arena score was so high? No. the players are still in the beginner bracket. So right there, even for the players who are in the veteran brackets, it's going to take a couple of months for them to even have any influence on the arena scores at all, because that's what most players are worried about, is that a large amount of players are now coming over to our version of the game, and now it's going to be that much harder to get featured champions and basic champions. First off, when it comes to the basic champions, that is a percentage based reward, so it's going to have practically zero impact, right? Because 5% of that player base is going to get the basic champions, along with the 5% of the current player base, right? That's not going to change. It might change for the feature champion sometime, down the road, but it's going to take a long time for those players to catch up and be able to compete for feature champions, right? Technically, yeah, if they wanted to spend a ridiculous amount of money, it might have some impact, right? And if that actually does have an impact, I'm sure Kabam would do something to fix it, right? And they even say that. They do say that. I don't know if they say it in this FAQ, but they do say it elsewhere on the forums. So let's continue down the list here. Is it true that these players got a bunch of units and crystals to join the contest? So yes, I mean, we already saw that. He's just confirming here that yes, that is true. I saw a screenshot of a player that received 75,000 units. That most players got. While there are a very small number of players that had invested enough in their account to receive a large package like that, that was very rare. Most players will receive significantly less than that. So yeah, most players, again, they're not getting that kind of joining Marvel Contest of Champions bonus welcome package, right? They're not getting that 75,000 units. And this, I think, is the most important question right here. I think this is what people are overlooking. How many players are moving over? While we can't talk specific numbers, we can say that it is much less than the population of Marvel Contest of Champions. So a lot of people think that China is a huge country, right? Both in terms of size, like land mass and population and stuff like that, right? And it's true. I mean, it's one of the biggest countries in the world, right? It's absolutely huge. But if their version of the game was getting shut down, how many players were actually playing it? Not many, right? I mean, if they had a thriving community of hundreds of thousands of players that are active, they wouldn't have gotten shut down. So I'm sure it's a very small amount of players. So now we're taking a very small amount of players who are being brought over to this game, and not all of them are even going to start over again, because you have to start completely over. So imagine if your account in this game got shut down for whatever reason, and you had to go join a different game. A lot of players would just say, okay, well, that was fun, but I'm not going to start over. I already had invested a bunch of time to build up my roster and stuff like that. I don't feel like starting over. And they would just completely stop playing as it is. So there's actually going to be significantly less players joining us in Marvel Contest of Champions than most people realize. So yeah, I really don't think it's going to have any impact at all, to be completely honest. And if there is an impact, it's not going to be for like a year or something like that, right? And then Kabam Mike just goes on to say, how will this affect me? And to sum this up in like one sentence, it's not going to affect you. We don't expect to have this any significant effect on arenas, Lions Quest, Wars, or anything else. There are many players joining all the time from various regions of the world and stuff like that. So yeah, I don't think there's any need to freak out, guys. Again, I really think that people were just freaking out because of the one screenshot where somebody got 75,000 units, and then the fact that China is a very large country, but people don't realize that there's not going to be many people actually playing from that country. There's also, actually, before I end this video, there was an image of somebody scoring 39 million in the arena, and I believe there were Chinese characters in his name or alliance or something like that. I don't have the actual screenshot. Hopefully it wasn't. Hopefully those were actually Chinese characters, because if I'm wrong, then I'm going to sound very racist. But yeah, I didn't actually look at them. I was just going by what other players were saying. And that's somebody, if that person was able to score 39 million, that's somebody who has already been in this game for a significant amount of time. They've already been getting featured champions for a while now. It's the highest score I've ever seen, right? So their roster must be insane as it is for them to be able to pull that off. So yeah, that's not normal. That's not new. That's not something that's going to change what's currently going on in the game. And that's gonna do it for this video, guys. Nothing to worry about. Play and have fun as normal, I guess, right? That's what I'm gonna do at least. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Take care.